morning, guys. Tuesday morning. For the next couple of videos, what I want to concentrate on is getting this thing running and driving. So that means getting the column set up permanently, shifter linkage, lead the brakes, wire the ignition, get a battery in it, all those sorts of things. All the fluids need to be topped up now. So yeah, I'm going to start with pulling the column out. I still have to make a bracket to mount it to the floor to seal up that opening, and put the signal switch and all that together. Everything's still in the box. I get the wheel bolted on properly. It's just kind of hanging on there right now. So yeah, I got that to do first. I've got to tidy up some things under the dash and do some wiring, and then I got to go to the wrecking yard and get a battery, and run into town and brake fluid and a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, just gonna get after it and see if we can get this thing running and driving, over the next couple of videos anyway. We'll see what happens. Well, first thing I need to do is get the column out of the truck. Just 2 bolts, that's it. And hopefully it'll let go off that double D shaft easy enough. Back in the day, I used to be able to reach in, get a wrench on a bolt, no problem. Now, without actually having eyeballs on it, just doesn't want to work. Old age, man. Right. Binding. Should probably take this wheel off so I don't wrap myself in the face with it. and see if I can work it off from down below. So yeah, that's what I'll do. That means if it's tough to take off, it's going to be even tougher to put back on. That's how the column came out with a little bit of jiggling. But you know, here's a dumbass move. You know, when I put the wheel on for mock-up, I only put in 2 screws. Yeah, I lost the other 4. I have no idea where the hell they are. Like, why didn't I just put them in the holes like where they belong, you know? Now I got to go into town and get some friggin' screws when I go to put the wheel on. So, anyway, what a dumbass. I know better than that, and I went and did it anyway. So, here's my thing, my issue. Under the dash here. I don't know if you can see in there. Anyway, the wiper motor, which is right here. Where is it? There. Right here. Needs to be braced a little bit. It's a little bit wobbly. It's a heavy motor. Now, they give you a brace. This is it here, but it's designed to go on the original support bracket. This is not the original. This is the brake pedal out of a square body, or what is it? No, Chevy. And so it doesn't quite line up the way it would with the stock one. So I'm either going to have to twist this one around or bend it or make a new one. But I got to secure that motor. I got to bolt the brace down at the front. It also acts as a brace for your firewall or your dash because of the steering wheel and everything else too. So I'm going to bolt all that stuff together. I'm not going to film it because I can't see what I'm doing. You certainly won't be able to. There's not enough room for hands and a camera and everything else under there. So I'm just going to go ahead and get it done, and then we'll move forward. Okay, so I figured that while I have the column out, it's a good time to make the floor bracket. So it's about as simple as it gets. So I just made a ring. Used my hole saw to cut the center out. That's just slightly bigger than the column. And then I cut the strap, and I put a 90 in it. So I'm just going to wrap it around that pipe, put another tab, drill holes through, and be able to bolt it together. And it'll act as a clamp. And then I'll just weld it just on the bottom, maybe 1.5 inches here, so that the top can move. And drill, 3 holes here, and bolt it to the floor. So I'm going to go ahead and bend that and come back when I guess maybe when I'm welding it. Alright, so there's my piece after I finished bending it up. Drilled my holes at the ends. So I'm just going to weld it, maybe 1 inch and a quarter at the bottom here. And that allows these 2 pieces to clamp together when I put a bolt in there. And drill, 3 holes maybe to mount it to the floor. And then I just got to cut a piece of rubber because we want a watertight seal around this thing. And I'm going to make the hole in the middle of the rubber slightly smaller than the size of the column, so it's good and tight. It's kind of, will squeeze tight on the column itself. So that's about it. So I'm going to go ahead and weld that and get the rubber cut and all those good things and get some paint on this thing. right, let that cool off, drill a few holes, cut a piece of rubber, good to go. All right, so I've already marked my holes. You can see the white dots there. I just took and traced it, and I'll show you how this works. Cut out the piece of rubber already. It's on there, nice and snug. And you know, as you bolt it, it'll tighten up and clamp itself onto the column, and done. So, piece of cake, nice and snug. So, I'm calling that done. Sweet. Alright, so I was going through all this stuff and I decided I'll put the levers on. That's for your tilt, and that is your signal, and that's your four-way flashers. So that's all on. So the column's ready to go in. No point in putting the horn and wheel on yet. I think it's probably better not to. Wait till I'm sitting in position. I think it'll be so much easier and better to line up. And while I was going, I was trying to figure out how this thing goes together. It's a bit of a, because I'm using parts from 3 different kits. The wheel was separate from the column, and the adapter was separate from both of those, and the horn button was separate from those. So there's four different sets of parts here, and trying to figure out how it all goes together. I think I've got it dialed in now. As far as those screws that I lost go, well, I didn't lose them. It turns out that I had put them in this resealable bag. So there's the 4 screws in there that was missing. So I was smart enough to do that. But it turns out I don't need them anyhow. Because the horn button is going to fit on the wheel like so, lining up the holes. So you need longer screws, which is in here, provided with the horn button. So I don't even need those shorter screws. So now I've got 6 extra instead of 4 short. So extra is always better than short. And yeah, so turns out I'm not as big a dummy as I thought I was. So anyhow, there we go. So yeah, the column's ready to go in, but before I put it in, I want to get my throttle pedal assembly in there and a few other things down low, because this will just be in my way, and you know, why fight when you don't have to. So I'm just going to put it aside for now and get on something else. Alright, so I got everything done under here. There's that brace right here. This is all secured and bolted in now, and now my master doesn't move around either. It's good and solid. Ouch, just whacked my head. So I guess next I'll put my throttle pedal assembly in, and yeah, that's probably about all I'll have time for. But anyway, I'll get that in. Okay, well, I can't see the carburetor and pushing the pedal at the same time, so I'm assuming that was working. Anyway, feels good anyhow, feels nice and smooth. And there we go. I'm gonna shrink this down a little bit here, back down to normal size. So, you know, that's the whole deal right there. Now there is a hole in here to accept the spring, so I'm going to put some kind of an eye or eyelet or something in here. I don't have one right now, but I'll pick one up, put the spring in, and trim the cable off, the excess. But overall, you know, it's pretty good. So really, I can I guess I could go ahead and put my column in any time now. Pretty much done with all the diddling around up here. So yeah, I'll get the column in, and some wiring, and then I can also put some brake fluid in my master and bleed the brakes. And all I got left really is the shifter linkage and tidy up some stuff underneath. So yeah, we're moving along pretty good. I'm pleased with the progress today. So hopefully we'll have this thing up and running down the road sometime soon. Okay, so a couple of key steps closer to getting this thing running and driving on its own. So, you know, the column won't take long. I mean, it's 5 bolts altogether. Yeah, and that's in. I'm gonna, like I said, hold off and putting the wheel on because it'll just be in my way. What else? Yeah, I wire up the ignition and tidy up some of the other stuff so, you know, I don't get tangled up in knots when I go for a test drive. And plus I don't want things to short out and stuff like that. I got some stuff hanging underneath. I've got a strap up, you know, the wires going out to the back of the box. The transmission lines are hanging a bit low. They've got to be kind of tucked up a little bit. I got to secure the exhaust before I go on the road, especially with the roads around here. It's brutal. Yeah, so bleed the brakes I guess next, shifter linkage, and wire up the ignition, and top up all the fluids, and you know, I gotta get any air out of the rack, so that's gonna be done as well. And yeah, so within either next video or the one after that, we should be going for a test drive. So that's cool. Yeah, starting to get really pumped up. It'll be nice to be able to start this thing up, take it outside on nice days, just park it in the driveway. I'll have all the room I want. I can do all the dirty work I need to do, and you know, the truck's not going to get messed up, and it's out of my way. And you know, I can just pull it back in whenever I want if it starts, runs, and drives. So that's the goal here. And yeah, so you know, if you're watching this video and you're not subscribed, please subscribe. You know, like I said before, if you pick up one tip or one shortcut or one wrong way of doing things and I make a mistake and you learn from that, awesome. So you know, it's worth every penny, which is nothing. It costs nothing to subscribe. It's free. So hit the subscribe button, please. And you know, leave comments. Don't be shy. Let me know what you're thinking. And you know, like the page and all those good things. And if you're not doing anything else, get out in the garage and build something, man. Later, guys.